In this lecture, I'm going to share with you a strategy used by some of the world's most prolific content creators to generate what seems like an infinite stream of fresh content. So as we saw, when you're creating content for your blog, you have a number of different formats to choose from. You can do regular written posts, you can do audio, you can do video, you can do other visual formats. You have plenty of options at your disposal, and it can actually be in your interest to do more than one. You see, when you create a piece of content in one format, there's a huge opportunity there to repurpose that content and share it again in a different format. You can use that as a way to promote the original content or to deliver the same message to a completely different audience. Let me give you an example. Let's say you interview a high-profile thought leader in your industry, and let's say it's a video interview. That kind of interview by itself is an amazing opportunity to generate traffic and links and social shares and build authority and credibility around your brand. But if you just post the video and call it a day, you're not really squeezing all the juice out of the orange, so to speak. There's still a lot of untapped potential in that one piece of content. So here's what I would do in that situation. First of all, when I initially post the interview, I'd create a blog post with a video embedded at the top. I'd write up a quick summary, and below that, I would transcribe the entire interview to text, every word. That way, if somebody comes along and wants to read the interview rather than watch it, they can do that. And having that transcript there also helps with search traffic because search engines are much better at understanding text than video. So that's the initial post. I've already done a lot more than most people would, but I'm not finished. An interview with an influencer can be a great source of social media content. So I'd pull out a few of the most impactful quotes and tweet them out over the next few days, making sure to tag the person and link back to the interview. Then I'd use the same quotes to create some beautiful graphics using a tool like Canva or Pablo by Buffer. Then I'd post those on Instagram and Facebook, again making sure to tag the person and point people to the original video. I might even make a short highlight reel of some of the best one-liners of the interview and share that on Instagram as well. Then, if I have a podcast, I'd convert the video to audio and release it as a podcast episode. And I'd probably just record an intro and an outro so my listeners understand the context of what they're hearing. But guess what? We're still not done. We can actually go a little bit further and craft another blog post with a headline like the 3 most valuable lessons I learned from whatever the person's name is. Here we're appealing to a slightly different audience, people who may not have time to watch or read an entire long-form interview, but are still interested in getting a condensed version of the main points. Then you can even repurpose that post a little bit, turn it into a podcast episode where you elaborate on what you learned and why it matters, and maybe tweet out bits and pieces of what you learned, make more graphics, and so on. Think about what I just did. I took one video interview and managed to turn it into a dozen or more individual pieces of content. Most people are not willing to do that, which makes it an incredible opportunity to set yourself apart. And it's actually not that hard to do since you're just repurposing existing content rather than creating something entirely new. See if you can work this little trick into your content strategy. It's simple, but very, very powerful.